Ready? Ready.
What's up, guys? It's PIHCAM with HuddleGG, and welcome back to another episode of Ask Huddle. If you guys are new here, this is a series that we do each week where we answer your guys' questions. So wherever you're watching this, if you have a question you'd like answered in a future video, just make sure you leave that in the comment section below, and we will do our very best to feature that in a future video. If you don't see it in a future video, you can always join our free Discord by going to HuddleGG/Discord, and we answer your guys' questions in there as well. So with that being said, let's jump right into this week's episode. And the first question comes from The Bird, and they ask, what's an easy way to beat cover 3 match? Now, this is a defense that can be frustrating if you don't know exactly how you want to attack it. And we're actually going to be in the tight open formation for today's concept. This is going to be something that you can do entirely with hot route. So if you have the tight open formation in your game or in your playbook, you can definitely use this concept. And this is something that you can do out of other formations as well, but I'll show you why we like it out of tight open. So we're just going to come out in a random play because, like I said, it is going to be hot routes. And what you want to do is, to the short side of the field, you want to put the inside receiver on a streak, and you want to put the outside receiver on a speed out and custom stem him up 3 times on the D-pad so it looks just like this. Now, the great thing about this formation is it's kind of in between a spread formation and a compressed formation because of the alignment. And because of that, the cover 3 match is actually turned off, so they're not going to get matching principles. So we're going to turn this more into a spot drop cover 3. But the great thing about this concept right here is it actually works against cover 3 match, cover 3 sky, and cover 3 hard flats. And I'll show you it against all 3 of them here. What you're going to do is you're just going to wait for that B to break towards the sideline, and you're going to throw it there. Okay, so we're going to say hike, you're going to see, we're going to wait. You're going to wait, and you're going to see we have that easy throw there on the sideline against cover 3 match. Now, if we shade up and we have curl flats now, okay, so more of a cover 3 sky look, and we can even audible to an actual cover 3 sky. You're going to do the same thing. Again, streak the inside receiver. We're going to put the outside receiver on a speed out and custom stem him up 3 spots. And again, the great thing about having this formation is that outside receiver does get slot receiver hot routes because of the compression. So that B receiver does get the speed out rather than a normal out. And again, here against cover 3 sky, you're going to see he's going to get over the curl flat. We're going to be able to throw that and get ourselves an easy completion there on the sideline. And then obviously if they would run something with cover 3 with hard flats, it's going to easily get over a hard flat. You don't have to really worry about this at all. But if we run the same exact concept here to the right side, you're going to see that we're just going to wait. We're going to be able to throw that. And again, wide open there on the sideline. And again, this is a very, very nice concept because you can run this to the short side of the field, and then you can do any route combo you want to the back side of the field, right? So if you wanted to set up something else to the left side, that's perfectly fine. You only need these 2 routes to the right side, and it's going to beat your cover 3 match, your cover 3 sky, and your cover 3 hard flats. Our next question today comes from Willy Bobo, and they ask, what's the best way to block the crossfire loop blitz? This is a great question and a blitz that you'll definitely see if you're playing online. It's something that was really, really popular last year, and it's pretty popular again this year. It's out of the dime 1-4 formation, and the play is going to be cross 3 fire. Now, they can run this flipped or not, and they can send the loop from left to right or right to left. But you're going to see that from an offensive perspective, it's actually really nice because we're going to be able to block this without having to block our running back or tight end. We're going to block it with just our 5 offensive linemen, and we actually are going to know which player's looping 9 out of 10 times because of what the user does. So this is what the play art's going to look like, and what you're going to see is they're going to take one of these middle linebackers and they're going to bring them down across the formation on the opposite side guard and just stand here to confuse the offensive line. Okay, now it can help confuse the offensive line, but the thing that it actually does for us as an offensive player is it now tells us which player is looping, right? It's not going to be the player they just brought down here and stood above the guard. It's going to be that guy at that 5-yard depth. So we now know that they're trying to loop from right to left with this play. And again, that just plays in our favor a little bit. What they're going to do from there is they're going to drop this guy into a zone, right? They're going to drop him back because this is going to be their user, so they're going to go back and play over the middle of the field. And the goal of the defense in this perspective is if we say hike, they're looking to get that guy looping there. And you can see that our left guard kind of plays in a position where he doubles down on the D tackle, and then he's not going to recognize the looper from the opposite side, and they're going to get this guy in. Again, they're only sending 4. We're blocking 5 in this situation. It can be very, very frustrating if you don't know how to pick this up. But like I said, this is a really, really easy blitz to pick up this year. All we need to do is when they bring this guy down, again, they're telling us who they are blitzing and who's looping. All we need to do is we need to untarget the player they bring down and stand over the guard. Okay, so that user defender, we're going to untarget him. Again, this is a new mechanic this year. Really great at picking up a lot of these blitzes. And then we are going to half slide towards that player as well. Okay, so you're going to half slide towards the side of the field that the looper is starting on. Okay, that's all we need to do. So again, untarget the user and then half slide that way as well. And what you're going to see now is our left guard is going to be in a much better position, and he's going to react well to that. And that would give us all the time that we need to step up in the pocket and make the throw down the field. Now, right now, I'm not setting up any route combinations. You do want to recognize what coverage shell your opponent is running. I would say the majority of people running this defense run a cover 4 shell. But again, if they're running a cover 4, set up a cover 4 beater. If they're running a cover 3, set up something to beat cover 3. You guys can look at, again, what coverage shell your opponent is running with this and set up your route combination from there. But you can see here how our left guard doesn't double down on the D tackle with this setup, and he's going to be in position to pick up that looper. Now, when we are picking up blitzes, one thing we always talk about is our goal is to get a hat on a hat. Okay, we cannot always guarantee that they won't get a shed and still get pressure at times, but we are wanting to get a blocker for every person they are sending after the quarterback. And you can see here we do a phenomenal job with this setup. So if we do this one more time, again, they're going to bring this guy down here. That actually plays to our advantage because we now know which guy is the blitzer and which guy is not the blitzer. They're going to drop that guy back in coverage. Again, that's going to be their user. What we're going to do is we're going to untarget that player, and then we're going to half slide to that side of the field as well. From there, we're just going to say hike, and you're going to see that our guard is going to be in good position. We just want to step up, and then again, have that route combination on the field to attack the coverage shell that they're in. But you can see we're going to have all day against this pressure, and we're going to be able to pick this up pretty much 10 out of 10 times unless something fluky happens. But this is a really consistent blitz pickup for, again, one of the more popular blitzes that you're going to see in the game. Our next question today comes from Fried TV, and they ask, how do you lock a player pre-snap on the defensive side of the ball? And this is something that's been pretty popular the last couple of years. And what people use it for is when they bring their user down here into the gap to, again, just mug the gap, confuse that offensive line. They want to be able to sprint to a specific area of the field immediately when the ball is snapped and not have to time the snap of the ball. So you're going to see if I bring my user down here and mug the gap and I go to push the right or the left stick up and to the right, you're going to see my player is going to leave that gap, right? Same thing if we bring him down to this gap and we want to attack that offensive line and we push down, you're going to see we're going to run across the line and get a penalty. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to lock the player in place so we can hold that left stick in a specific direction. And then when the ball is snapped, it's going to automatically sprint us. And again, it's going to time that snap perfectly time and time again. Now, shout out to MP4 over at our Discord who flew this in last week. Again, and there are multiple ways where you can lock in your defensive player as well this year, but this is going to be my favorite way to do it because I feel like it's pretty quick and it's easy to set up. So when you get your user into the spot that you want him to be in, you're just going to bring up your stunt menu. So to do that, you're going to push left on the D-pad and then RB. And now I can hold the left stick in any direction. You can see my player is not moving. Okay, so if I bring up that stunt menu and now I want to get back into coverage quickly, I'm going to push up into the right on my left stick here. So you're going to see as soon as they say hike, we're going to get back into coverage immediately and get into the position that we need to and not really be penalized for being close and mugging the gap there with our user. Now, you can also use this when you're attacking the offensive line. So if you bring this guy down here, you're going to push left on the D-pad and RB, and now I'm going to hold down. You can see it's not going to run across the line of scrimmage because it's not going to actually move my user until the ball is snapped. So when they go to snap, you're going to see we're able to attack that center really quickly. And again, that can at times help us get pressure and also help open up other blitzes on the field. So again, this is something that can definitely be useful when you're playing defense, when you're getting your user in a specific spot and you want to lock him in place before they say snap or before they snap the ball and before they say hike. You just want to bring him to that position. You want to push left on the D-pad. You want to push RB, and then you can move that left stick in any direction that you want, and it's not going to move your player until they hike the ball. Our last question today comes from Gio, and they ask, how do you like to attack cover 2 man defense? Now, this is a question that we're getting a lot lately. Cover 2 man is a pretty popular defense in the game right now, and it can be really frustrating because they're going to press everybody underneath. They're going to shade underneath. They're going to have 2 deep safety. They're going to have a user over the middle of the field, only rush 3 and still be able to get pretty good pass rush. And it just seems like none of our routes are going to get open. So today I'm going to show you one of my favorite concepts to attack this style of defense, but we're also dropping a meta buster update over at HuddleGG later this week, where we're going to give you guys multiple different ways to attack cover 2 man. Again, it's something that we're getting questions on a lot, so we wanted to give you guys multiple answers. If you've not been to our Meta Buster before, it's where we look at the popular things in the game. We show you how they work and why they work, and then we're going to show you how we can attack them or how we can defend them as well. So make sure you go check out that later this week so you have multiple answers, so you don't have to just run the same concept over and over again. But today we're going to be talking about the mesh concept. And what I like about the mesh concept, you can see here in the bottom left, we have this mesh out of gun spread Y slot. Now I am in the air raid playbook, but they have mesh concepts out of a variety of different playbooks in this game. The ones that I really like to look for are the mesh concepts where the two drags are on those option route drags. You can see there on that left play, those are not normal traditional drag routes. Okay, again, they're going to be an option route where if it's man coverage, they'll continue on the drag. If it's zone, they're going to sit down in the open area of the zone. We're not really focused on that part when we're playing against cover 2 man, because they're just going to run the drag regardless. But something with these option routes make it really, really hard for the defense to get a clean press on us. Okay, so when people play this cover 2 man defense, they're going to press shade underneath, and again, their goal is to get a nice jam animation on these receivers. What you're going to see is these option route drags, they'll never get a clean animation, and you're going to get both of these guys open every single snap, and it really from that point is just which side does the user cover. We're going to throw it the opposite way. Now you can see on this side, this player does get bumped to the outside, but you can see that the guy does not get a clean press animation, and as soon as our receiver runs the drag, he's winning the route there. Okay, so again, you can see there, he's winning the route. Now this guy over here, he actually doesn't get pushed to the outside, but again, once you can see he's not getting cleanly pressed at the line of scrimmage, he's going to get off of this and get into his route quickly. And you're just going to see how open both of these guys are, right? So again, if the user would have covered this guy, we would just throw it back to this guy, right? If the user covers this guy, we'll throw it to this guy. Now for context, I want you to see the outside receiver here, and what it looks like and what they're trying to get is a defensive player with the jam animation, where you're going to see they're going to really jam that receiver and make it tough to get open on any route. Again, you can see over here, it's not as clean as on the right side, but it's still a clean press where he's making that receiver stumble, and he's in perfect position there where we cannot throw this ball to either of those two outside receivers. But these inside guys on these option route drags really do a great job at getting open. Now, the reason why I like this formation the best is because both of the players running the option routes are off the ball. Okay, now you can still run these option route drags if your receiver is on the line of scrimmage, but if they're off the line of scrimmage, you're actually going to get a lot more consistency of that clean press not working for the defense. So again, if we go to run this again, you can see that we're able to get our guys open. Again, that time, that guy absolutely cooked from right to left, and we're just going to make that read time and time again. Now, you can do this with normal drags as well. If you are doing it with normal drags, you definitely want to have your receivers off the line of scrimmage. Okay, if they're on the line of scrimmage, they're not going to get nearly as open with a drag. And I do like the option route drags better than a traditional drag. What you're going to see here is we still can win with the traditional drag. So if, again, we just put both those guys on drags with a simple hot route, we're going to say hike, and you're going to see how you can still get these guys open, but it's not going to be nearly as much separation as when we're utilizing the option route drags. Okay, so if we look at the replay here, you can see still not a super clean press. We're still able to get open. Over here, not a clean press. We're able to get underneath of that, but he's trailing really close to that receiver, and this isn't something that we could get much rack at all. Again, if we catch this, we're going to get 2-3 yards max unless we break a tackle, where when we run the option route versions, again with these mesh concepts here, with the option route, you're going to see that again we're going to be able to create a lot of separation and get that rack, turn up the field, and be able to turn these into really big plays with such a simple throw. So again, look in your playbook for these option routes. Again, they are in quite a few playbooks throughout the game. It may not be in a spread look like this. It may be in a trips look. It may be in a tray open, something like that. But again, a lot of formations and a lot of playbooks have these mesh concepts with the built-in stock option route drags. Find these, utilize these, and you're going to really get your opponent to start thinking about running cover 2 man against you, because they're not going to be able to cover this consistently. You're just going to be able to move the ball time and time again down the field. Again, that's going to be it for this week's episode. If you guys enjoy this content, again, just make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. But make sure you leave your guys' questions in the comment section below so we can answer your guys' questions in a future episode. With that being said, that's it for this week, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week.